Okay, so we know that TikTok is causing a lot of divorces. It's usually from women. But look at this man who wants a trad wife. Y'all, okay. And like the framing of this is so classic. TikTok did not cause this divorce. Okay, before I get into that article, okay, so this is like part 2 of like the trad wife stay-at-home mom thing and how I hate this trend because it's just lies. None of these people are real. Like, they're real, but like, they have like trust funds and there's all kinds of stuff happening. These women who are like promoting this trad wife thing, I firmly believe that they are basically the same as like the pick-me's who like make anti-feminist content because it's kind of what it is. And now again, I'm not saying that stay-at-home moms can't thrive, can't be okay. I understand why a lot of women want to stay at home or it's necessary because of childcare. Like, I understand the nuances of all of it. I already addressed that in the last video. My point is that you can't trust men. That's why you can't be a stay-at-home mom without protection. And by that, I mean your own income, whether it's passive or something. And you have to have limits around the work that you are expected to do because you are never off the clock. Ever. You never get a day off. You never get time off. And that is what every stay-at-home mom I know is exploited so much because you can't just clock in and clock out. The man who's like, they think your job is doing all this, but they don't ever see any boundaries around your job. And you're doing the job of like 6 people and getting paid for none of it. So not only is this trad life stuff, first of all, it's usually rooted in white supremacy culture because these trad wives are usually white women. And in fact, black women weren't even legally allowed to be stay-at-home moms during a certain period in the United States history. So like, stay-at-home moms are usually only like richer white women anyway. But none of these men actually want the trad wives they keep talking about. They don't want these women. They think they do, but they don't. Because, and this is what we see with the passport bros, they like go to another country where there are more very defined gender roles, and they're like, wait a second, I want you to do all this other stuff. And they're like, no. And they're like, crap, how can I have my cake and eat it too? You can't, buddy. Not anymore. Like this lady on TikTok. Y'all know this account. Hopefully you don't. I only know it because I've seen people criticize. And the funny thing is that men actually believe this crap, and a lot of women believe it. Stop believing this. Because look at this. Sometimes I watch this farm lady's cooking videos and they're suggested on IG. She's got like 10 kids and always pregnant. I'm always like, wow, they work so hard on their farm. And then I Googled them and her husband's father was the founder of JetBlue. And the stove behind her is $35,000. And like this tweet points out, they're like, oh, it's even worse. The family doesn't do a lick of farming or homesteading. They have staff. Everything that woman touches dies, including the poor animals. She's obsessed. So let's just get this straight. These like trad wives, stay at home. I'm not saying that they don't exist. I'm not saying that there aren't healthy versions of them. I know women who do this and it's working for them. But it's only if you are with men and that you have a lot of protection around and that man is not like, doesn't hate you. He doesn't hate you and hate women. And I'm telling you, this is why when you're dating, please, you have got to look out for signs that these men hate you. Now, I know they can do the switch up at any moment. A lot of men are they're just predators. They get better and better at learning how to like trick you into not realizing they hate you. When you like, look at this article. And also, clearly the people who write this are not on TikTok because TikTok has changed my life. I am so much more educated. I have learned so much on this app, especially from my mutual. My decentering men journey has accelerated times 100 because of this app. And I get told on a daily basis by at least one woman, if not more than one, sometimes like 3 or 4, I left my husband because of you. I'm like, oh crap. But I'm like, good. If he sucked and treated you like crap, then good. So I know that I am personally breaking up marriages, but in a good way, marriages where women are getting exploited. But people are like, TikTok is like kids dancing. Now they're blaming TikTok on ruining marriages. But honey, TikTok didn't ruin this marriage. Your husband being a misogynist who hid it for a really long time is what ruined your marriage. You should thank TikTok for revealing to you what trash he is. woman's 37, seemingly happy together before he joined TikTok's trad wife videos. And then, this is what all these women say. Oh, I'm not doing all this stuff. Women should stay home and be better at raising kids. They don't need to work, blah. Fine. That can be true, but this kind of content is not geared for women. This kind of content is geared for men who hate women and for women who hate themselves. That's it. This is not feel-good content. If you follow these kinds of pages, maybe you should stop because it's all lies. She was like, look, we're not a traditional couple. We both work, we both do chores and childcare, and he didn't complain about it. But around March last year, he started acting weird. He complained how I looked. He complained about the food, about not working as many hours as him, blah. Throughout their marriage until this point, he never had any complaints about the food I cook. I dress up in more comfortable attire when I'm in my house. He never had a problem with that ever. Now, she's realized that he is obsessed with trad wives. And, she sees right through it. She's like, her content, this lady, this trad life, makes it look like not realistic to me because it's 100% made for the male audience. I told him this was all an act and she puts up for the world to see. This is not reality. Plus, nobody cleans their house wearing pretty dresses. The dresses are going to get dirty, bro. But he just didn't listen. He began comparing his wife to a friend who was a stay-at-home mom. He urged her to quit her career to become a mom with their daughters on a full-time basis, right? Quit your job. I'll take care of you. Don't believe them. He knew I wasn't the type of woman who wanted to be a homemaker. He had no problem with it. I tried to tell him, stop watching that stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Look at this. Shockingly, she claimed her husband became verbally abusive for the first time in their marriage and insisted that she be a submissive wife. Then their marriage continued to go downhill, and then she found out he's talking to another woman online. He wasn't even ashamed or felt remorse. He even told me he deserves better. These are the comments that I found annoying. A lot of people in those comments were blaming TikTok, and I know that the Jordan Petersons fork that guy. If you don't know how bad he is, please trust me. I'll do a video when I can, but please, that man is not a psychologist. They're trying to actively take away his license. Anyway, he's anti-trans, but he hates women, y'all. He hates women. Just like Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit, Pearl, all those accounts. I know that those do radicalize people, but usually they're radicalizing younger men who are more impressionable. A man that old who is that easily turned into a red pill person and turns on his own wife and literally wants her, like, that switch up happened real quick. Again, that can happen in marriages. That can happen. A lot of times it happens when a woman gets pregnant, or a lot of times that switch up happens. And my mutual Lorraine talks about the switch up all the time, and about stay-at-home moms and how vulnerable you are and how women should make money and how to make money. I'm going to tag her. Sometimes the switch up happens right after you get married. Sometimes it's when one of you gets injured. Sometimes, like my mutual Cecilia Regina talked about recently, a lot of times the switch up happens after the man gets injured or is retired and has nothing to do and has been bad health, and then he is so frustrated he lashes out. These men can lash out at any moment. Me and my mutuals, we can do everything in our power to try to educate women to see these warning signs, like how they communicate early on, their actions, do they match their words over a long period of time? Is it consistent? Is he jealous of you? Does he compete with you? Is he embarrassed by you? What kind of gifts is he giving you? Are they selfish gifts? Are they self-serving gifts? Or are they really about you and him seeing you and loving you? Are they thoughtful, right? Like, there's all these things that we can do to try to help you become educated so that you don't end up in a relationship with a man who forking hates you. And at the same time, there's always a chance at any point that a man's true colors and his true hatred for women, maybe he hated all women but you, and then one day hates you too. At any moment, these men can flip. And for you to have all your finances tied to him, all your finances depending on him not making that switch up, not getting sucked into trad wife TikTok, like, if you're in that situation, you're in danger because you have no power and no escape route and no safety net. Be careful.